Yeah, I've lived here all my life. It's a good place.
Lents neighborhood.
I live in Southeast Portland, around 92nd and Herald Street.
My name is Tanesha. I'm 7. I like everything here.
I love the place that I live.
Yo me siento muy bien, muy cómoda y siento mucha seguridad.
I like my house.
It's a good neighborhood, it's a good community, a lot of nice folks.
I like the place where I live.
Todos nos conocemos y me gusta. Es un lugar tranquilo para mis niños.
I really love its community. I've never really lived in a community that was so community-like.
I think we blend together. There's a lot of different kinds of people in here, and it's really nice.
I love that my daughter's friends come from many different ethnic backgrounds.
I like the park. I like seeing. I like my friends.
I like playing with my friends. Plus, the rain actually helps the plants grow.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of beautiful stuff going on in the neighborhood. The Malden Court being one of those things, the little free libraries, the neighborhood, the intersection paintings. There's a lot of community events. There's a lot of great stuff.
It's a great place, and like I say, it was 100 times better than when I was a kid.
Pues a la escuela diario, salgo diario.
Well, my kids love being outside, and it's helpful for me too. I like to get outside. It just puts me in a better mood, and I get some exercise. And we have a very active dog who needs to be walked.
I walk around the neighborhood a lot just for exercise.
We spend a lot of time outside, and we spend a lot of time walking, and we spend a lot of time in parks.
Yo voy en el Max, uso el servicio del Max. ¿O vas?
They built the 205 Max for me. I know they did. I go to Fred Meyer's in Gateway. All my doctors are at Gateway.
I drive to work or to the store, like Fred Meyer's on 82nd and Foster.
Lents Transit Center, I use that one a lot.
Zoigel House, which is down near the Lents Town Center.
Y trabajo en el Pato Feliz Junior, que está en la 92 y la Foster.
I usually get driven to school. I'll walk home and I'll walk to the park and I'll bus to downtown.
I get out every day. I walk about half a mile every morning.
Like Lents Park with the Boys and Girls Club.
Llevar a los niños a la escuela, ir a la tienda.
I work as a seniors advocate, so I move to where they are, which is all over the Portland Metro and Hillsborough, Beaverton areas.
I don't think I can detect a difference in pollution with my bare senses.
What do you mean by notice pollution? Do you mean like pollution going into the air or like sea pollution?
No sé si haya contaminación, no se ve. Pero yo pienso que sí hay porque como pasa cerca el freeway, el 205, yo pienso que sí hay porque son cientos de carros que pasan al día.
Ya ahí está un poquito más contaminado donde yo trabajo, porque no hay mucha vegetación en esa área.
Sí he sentido, sí lo he notado.
When cars drive by, that smoke comes out the tailpipe.
If it rains, this gray, I don't know how to explain, it's just a bizarre gray substance that I see.
Yeah, I see pollution in here.
Yeah. How do you see it? What does it look like?
Like dark. It looks like dark. It looks like a cloud, but it's dark and it's smoke. It's smoky.
Then the air and the smoke get mixed up. They make pollution. Pollution is when bad gas goes into the air and it kills plants and stuff.
Sometimes I can smell people burning trash. Sometimes I can smell the exhaust from cars, both from 82nd Avenue, we're close to that, and from the 205 freeway, I think.
It seems like the stink of the trucks and cars just kind of go down to the ground, and you can really smell them.
No importa qué día de la semana, siempre hay mucho tráfico.
I've noticed that there's a lot of income-based properties within a close proximity to each other, and they're in this neighborhood. And then you notice other things about the neighborhood, like why is Marshall High School closed? Why did PPS make the decision to close that? Is there a connection? Is the pollution that I'm seeing not just 205 pollution? Is the pollution that I'm seeing more of a neighborhood issue?
Lents is definitely one of those areas, as is the Cully neighborhood, because there's a thoroughfare of 82nd and 205, because Those areas traditionally were less expensive when Portland started to boom, and so families that had less income but wanted to live in the city were able to afford housing here. So now you have children being brought up in an area where they have the diesel pollution from the major arteries, and then industry that has popped up next to them.
That's the new playground.
And my daughter goes to school here, and she comes outside to play, and the playground is located right next to the freeway. So when the kids are outside getting exercise, which is healthy, and breathing fresh air, in theory, they're actually ingesting the fumes of the exhaust from the freeway.
My daughter's in middle school. She runs track. Track meets are held at Marshall. Marshall's right down the street. If they're out running their hardest, breathing their hardest, and they're breathing in air that the quality is compromised, it makes me really, really concerned.
I have a lung disease, and so from smoking, and I've noticed, especially along 82nd Avenue, I have trouble breathing sometimes from all the smoke.
La 82, la Foster, la 92 se llena de carros.
Like over summer, I saw something on the news about the hottest place in Portland being 82nd and Foster.
I'm asthmatic. My cats are asthmatic. I don't know if they would have been if they weren't living with me.
A lot of my family lives around the area, and they also have health problems like breathing problems, like asthma as well.
My daughter was born with asthma, and she has asthma. My son had it when he was little.
Some of our neighbors have a son who's had to go to the ER multiple times with really bad asthma experiences since he's lived in this neighborhood.
But after you have emphysema, you notice it. Believe me, I can't be around any kind of cleaning solvent or anything like that. Any type of smoke, it just really affects my breathing.
It sounds ridiculous to say, but you can't live if you can't breathe. And struggling to try to do that just makes everything else really hard. It's a horrible feeling to have a really intense asthma attack and feel like you can't breathe.
Some days I'm around the traffic a lot waiting for buses. It does affect me. It starts to give me a headache.
I've developed migraines. I never had migraines before in my life. I've had a headache in my life, but I'm talking about a headache so bad that I'm not getting out of bed and I can't drive my car type of headache.
I know it affects us a lot, and I think it's very much an invisible danger, and it's easy to ignore until the data is right in your face or people fall ill.
The Rydell family that lived behind us, they were all really nice people, and their whole family, there was like 12 of these people, the most wonderful people you'd ever meet. They were all diesel engine mechanics, and they were all around this stuff all the time, and they all died from really strange cancers. All of them did.
You know, you see the things in the media about the glass factory and the air pollution from that, and I grew up right in that neighborhood, and then I moved a little bit further this way, and now I'm in this neighborhood, and now I'm seeing more pollution stuff. Is that connected to why I have asthma?
It's really hard because two people can breathe the same amount of toxics, and one person can get cancer or heart disease or have a heart attack from it because, you know, metals get inside your blood system and they move through your body and they land places that are dangerous. And then the other person can have no adverse health effects for 50 years. But we do know for a fact that the air toxics will cause all of those problems in the end, in the long run. And so we're all suffering.
The statistics show there's nowhere in Portland you can go without the pollution.
There's no level at which industrial and air toxics doesn't affect a community and make it less healthy.
The air we breathe is largely being created, you know, at such a large scale that it's not something individuals or families have much control over.
I think bad air quality is caused by stuff outside of their control a lot of the time. They can't just move.
So it's going to affect my work, it's going to affect my income, it's going to affect my ability to take care of my kids, it's going to affect all of these things.
I fear for my neighbors next door and their wonderful new baby.
Pues aparte del medio ambiente, a mí me preocupa que hay más gente que viven aquí cerca.
I'm concerned because there are voices that are not being heard from communities that don't have the power and voice necessarily to stand up at a legislative level for what is right and what is fair.
Kids can't make their voice heard very easily.
We know our struggles and strengths better than people elsewhere know for us.
And then you do the research and you find out that more kids of color, more minority kids are asthmatic.
We might not be getting the supports or the resources that other areas of the city receive, or we may be suffering a little disproportionately from bad air quality.
City hasn't repaired sidewalks, haven't built sidewalks in places where there should be sidewalks.
Lo que no me gusta es que hay muchas personas de las que están viviendo en la calle aquí por el área y contaminan con la basura y pues con todo porque viven en la calle.
Yo no me siento segura para salir afuera a caminar con mis hijos.
A big way in which things are not equitable is the way that the homeless are treated around here. The fact that they've been forced to move without having a place to move to, so the only stability that they have has been taken away from them.
But I would say that the pollution from the vehicle traffic on the freeway is my biggest concern.
Se enferman los niños o puede enfermarse uno ya que somos personas mayores.
Si no tenemos un aire bueno es cuando podemos tener las enfermedades.
Because it has tiny specks of dirt in it that you can't see.
But I know that diesel, which we get a lot of here from 205, is probably one of the worst pollutants we've got. And it goes right down the middle of the neighborhood and we are all like breathing it day and night.
Pienso que daña el medio ambiente también por los árboles. Aunque dice mucha gente es que aquí hay árboles, pero los árboles, yo creo que tiene un límite también, hasta donde ellos pueden ayudarnos a respirar.
Because it can kill plants and we might not have no air and it can kill us.
I'm worried about all the people around me, the people that aren't as worried. Someone needs to be worried.
Environmental issues are everybody's issues.
Having low income is one thing, but then having the worst quality of air is a whole nother. And just because we are low income doesn't mean that we're entitled to breathe poison. It's insane and it has to be different.
So we can breathe.
If you do what's right by the people most affected, then everybody else benefits from that work.
I do come from a trucking business family. I think there's all kinds of things that can be done to clean up these engines. I remember reading a lot and had my grandfather even talk about the first diesel engines designed, which ran on hemp oil. The only thing they left behind in the burn was carbon and water. The fossil fuels are not the answer. Those where all the pollutants come from.
Possible solutions would be just educating ourselves and knowing, like, using better products.
Really banding together to make change and sharing with each other and making each other aware.
Research the sources, research the types of pollution, research the toxicities.
We can fight at a legislative level.
Pues sí me gustaría que como nuestros representantes pusieran más atención de cómo los conductores tienen el mantenimiento de sus carros, porque yo pienso que eso es lo que más contamina, también las compañías, que haya más regulación en eso.
We can help the cars don't do the pollution.
But driving less is great too. When you can walk or ride your bike, then your car isn't putting any exhaust into the air.
You know, I think public transportation is a great thing. I think riding bikes is a great thing.
Rather not having cars and having like bikes.
Switching to clean fuel sources is really important too.
Plantar muchos árboles.
People around me, my mom inspires me, my teachers have inspired me. Be the most positive and do the most I can.
There's a lot of groups here that are really organized, really know their stuff. They've learned how to do the research. They've got great communication with the neighborhoods. And as they join up together more, there's quite a nice web of activists about this.
So I think that coming together, having all of us come together is how the change is really going to happen so that we have a voice.
I love the activism in my community. I love that I work with a group of people who are so awake and aware that at every turn they see the injustices in our environment, in our friends and our people around us, and that we're fighting very hard to give the children in our lives a world that is perhaps not better, but not destroyed.